What's up, Comicbook Nation, and welcome to the Over the Ropes Royal Rumble recap. I am Tori Yator, aka the Ultimate Warrior, and it was a huge night last night, so I called in some reinforcements. We've got Brandon the Nighthawk Goodnets and Chris Killian to talk all about the Rumble today.
AKA the Chris.
AKA the Chris.
Real quick, and I'm going to be monitoring all the live questions coming in, so if you guys have any questions about the Royal Rumble that you want answered, hit us up right now on Facebook, let us know, and we will try our best to get to them.
Yes, so I guess the big story, we got to get started. Randy Orton is your 2017 Royal Rumble winner, with the final three being Orton, his cult leader best friend Bray Wyatt, and the big dog Roman Reigns. You would think there would be a Wyatt family 2-on-1 fight, but Reigns eliminated Wyatt and then attempted a spear on the Viper, which of course he turned into an RKO out of nowhere. This means that Randy Orton will be your main event at WrestleMania. The question is, where do we go from here, guys?
I mean, he looked good pointing at the WrestleMania sign.
He does look good doing that.
Just as he did in 2009.
Yeah, it's nice to see them going with new talent in the new era.
Yes.
That's.
Well, do you think like the fact that they brought in Roman Reigns at 30 was just to say, okay, please don't yell at us for making Randy Orton win?
Oh, it's 100%.
At least it's not Roman Reigns.
That's all it was like anybody but Roman at that point. That's how the entire audience felt.
And that's so sad.
It really is.
I feel bad for the guy, you know? I mean,
I like Roman. I'm one of the few that like.
I like him too.
I think he's great. I think he would do better as a heel, but I like Roman. I think he's a solid worker. His matches are always, they're great. I like him.
But back to Orton. Is this the guy we wanted?
Like, where are we going to go? Like, what's the match? He's going to main event WrestleMania. Is it going to be him and Cena?
Well, the room. Oh God, please no. We've seen that.
I'm just saying.
The rumor is Bray Wyatt may be winning the Elimination Chamber, which would set up a Wyatt family conflict.
I'm okay with that if it means Bray Wyatt's going to go over at WrestleMania.
Yeah, but if he's not,
yeah.
What's the point?
What's the point of it?
I would have. If we were going to get to that match, I would have rather them see Bray Wyatt win the Rumble and Randy.
I think Bray would have been a better shot at the Rumble. I think that would have done way better.
Because so far he looks kind of like a chump. I mean, he loses cult members all the time.
And he's supposed to be the leader, and he's got the guys. Everybody else is showing him up.
Yes, everybody's showing up.
Right.
Has he won a big match in 5 years?
He got the tag team titles, and that was the first belt he'd won.
And
how long has Bray Wyatt been in WWE?
Look, I'm just glad that the Undertaker didn't win. I mean, he was looking pretty.
Oh,
I'm
here
sorry.
we go.
Here we go.
There we
A
go.
little billionaire.
He's looking a little. He looks like he should be in a Legends Battle Royal at this point.
Like at a fairground?
Yeah, like with
signing
Iron
autographs?
Sheik. I mean, it was pretty.
I think it would just help him if he raised his shirt up a little bit. Like
No, I agree. I think that he needs to go back to the old garb, not have that.
The button up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something to cover up the oldness.
It just keeps getting lower as the years
well,
go by.
Well, you know what? We'll pass that on to him. We'll talk to his stylist. Another big part of the Rumble are the surprise entrants that we get every year. If you remember last year's Rumble, we got the debut of AJ Styles, the best wrestler in the world. Yeah, I said it. And the return of a healthy Sami Zayn. This year, we got Ty Dillinger. And I love Ty, but in a year when Samoa Joe, Finn Balor, Shinsuke Nakamura, and even Kurt Angle are possibilities, some people felt the Rumble was a little meh. Are we just trained to expect surprises? Do you guys think that this Rumble fell flat?
I mean, we got a debut of an umbrella. That was cool.
Jack Gallagher,
I mean,
so great, but not exciting.
It was better than Mojo Rawley. The performance. It was. I mean, come on. The umbrella did a nice little performance in there.
It did great.
Mojo is like Ultimate Warrior without charisma.
Oh, gosh.
The penultimate warrior.
I was super excited. I think the whole crowd was to see Ty come out. Because even before that,
the whole crowd?
I think it was like the hardcore NXT and wrestling community was, and
guilty.
It was exciting.
It fit, though, with the 10 and everything.
Yeah.
So
if that would have been not the best surprise, I would have been great with it.
Yeah.
But Joe would have been an excellent entry.
I think Samoa Joe was the one that we were all like, oh, Samoa Joe's going to come out. Like, this isn't even, why are we having
I didn't think that it was going to happen, but I kind of still had my heart set on Kurt Angle.
Can you imagine if the swarms had gone off?
Right. Yeah, it would have been insane.
I would have fallen out.
Yeah, so I would say I was disappointed because we've been trained
to think of surprises.
Royal Rumble kind of sets things in motion going forward to WrestleMania.
But luckily, we got Ellsworth, so.
Oh, well.
His elimination was amazing. He got thrown all the way back to the entrance ramp.
Pretty sure his entire spine is broken. I can tell you something that didn't fall flat was the WWE Championship match between AJ Styles and John Cena. These two tore the house down, and it all ended with John Cena holding the title for the 16th time. Cena has officially tied Ric Flair for the most title runs. The two 16-time champions even took a photo together backstage. What did you guys think of the match? And we gotta discuss, and I've been saying this, is Cena one of the greatest of all time?
I think the most surprising thing about this photo was that Ric Flair wasn't crying.
or bleeding. So
Those are his two preferred ways of being.
yeah. That match
It was
up
great.
to the hype and
Yeah,
then
it was the
some.
best match of the card for sure.
Oh, hands down.
Easy.
And they've put on some classic matches before. So, and I think this somehow topped all of those.
Well, we were
matches.
talking about it. Like every time people start to knock Cena, he'll have a match like this where he pulls out new moves and he kind of reaffirms like why he's
The best.
exactly why he's the face of the company. I mean, that was an amazing match. The roll into the
Oh my
AA
gosh.
was awesome.
Oh, we did a Mount Rushmore of wrestling superstars here a week or two
Yeah.
ago. And
We had an argument ongoing for like 2 days straight.
Oh,
He
really?
Yeah.
rolled me into an AA. It was bad, but we did not put Cena on the Mount Rushmore. And,
Oh, blasphemy.
And now, I mean, like he just gets his own mountain.
Right.
Just
Well, and he really should be. I mean, as much as as much respect as you have for Ric Flair, I mean, John Cena has been the
That
Stone
guy.
Cold or Hulk Hogan, that main guy that transcends and goes into pop culture. He's been that for over a decade now.
And he's great for that because he's a great representative for the company. No scandal.
Right.
Solid dude. Make a wish. I mean, after
Even he
that,
won.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was just like, he is the greatest
Yeah.
of all time.
Class act.
He's just a class act. I mean, Team Cena, like you said, he needs his own mountain.
And we have kids, so
Yeah.
he's somebody that when
Yes.
I let Colby watch, and he's a good person if you have kids, he's a good person to represent the company as champion.
I love you.
And he tied the record without jorts on, which I thought was a
Blasphemy.
huge plus.
Huge.
Thankfully.
I needed the jorts. Anyway, Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns just about killed each other during their Universal title match last night. We got Chris Jericho in a shark cage, a Jenga tower of chairs, and brass knuckles. But in the end, Kevin Owens retained thanks to a little interference from Braun Strowman, who attacked Roman Reigns. Now, this match was insane. Is this the right decision to keep the belt on Owens? And what's going to happen with Braun and Roman? Because it just kind of fell off after he beat him.
Let's talk about those brass knuckles for a second.
Yes.
You've got some things to say.
Brass
Kevin.
knuckles, why? Well, okay, so why are we supposed to believe that a guy can get punched in the face with brass knuckles, kick out, and then Braun Strowman's finisher is that's donezo for him? That's too much. That
Maybe he
was
has
the
an iron
wrong.
jaw.
I think that we're getting all this Roman Reigns hate, and it's decisions like this
That's true,
that
yeah.
make it like that.
You
because
can't book him as unstoppable.
No. If they dropped the knuckles and then Roman got him from him and then hit Kevin Owens, but then
Which I
Braun
thought would happen,
Strowman
yes.
interfered and rolled Kevin Owens on top of him, that would have been fine. But getting punched in the face with brass knuckles and then kicking out, I could just see every old timer just screaming
I
at
know.
their television when that
Brass
happened.
knuckles used to be the end-all, be-all. Like
Yeah.
every wrestler carried brass knuckles in their underwear, like going to the store.
I still
going to
do
the
that,
bank.
and
Yes.
now I don't know if I could do any damage with
I know,
it.
because what's
I
the
don't
point?
believe
It
it
means
anymore.
nothing.
And then the worst part about this is the follow-up. You expected Roman Reigns to then interfere with Braun Strowman in the Royal Rumble, and he's like, whatever. Braun
You
goes
just let
in,
that go?
wrecks people, and gets eliminated by what? Baron Corbin, I believe.
I
think
it was
Baron
somebody that was
Corbin.
losing their hair.
That could be any number of
Yeah,
people.
there was a few of them.
Could be a few, yeah.
I think it was Baron Corbin. But our last big story of the Rumble is one you might have missed because it was on the pre-show. The club are your new Raw Tag Team Champions. The Good Brothers from Japan beat Sheamus and Cesaro to take the belts. After what felt like loss after loss, the club finally won the big one. Are we happy about this? Could this possibly be leading up to a Bullet Club reunion with a certain demon?
Oh,
Or is it
I
too
hope
late
so
for the
because
club? Is it too late?
The tag titles, winning it felt too little, too late.
Yeah.
So unless they do something big, like some kind of reconnecting with Finn Balor,
I think that's
It
their
felt
only
flat to
play.
me,
I
yeah.
think that's their only play to get them. Because when they came in, they were so hot. with the
Especially
Bullet
as hot
Club.
as Cesaro and Sheamus were. You know, I loved them as a tag team, and
Yeah.
they've been killing it. And then the club, who've had shot after shot after shot after shot.
lost.
You know, it just
Yeah.
it felt weird, and it felt like bad timing.
And it was
to
on the
me.
pre-show, so it just shows you how important it was.
Yeah, we did our predictions, and I was like, there's no way they're losing on a pre-show. Like, there's no way they're going to
Yeah.
do these belts on a pre-show. And then they did. And I was like, oh, like kind of a diss to the club to me.
It's a diss to the belts.
Yeah, it's a diss to the belts, and I think they're going to have to do something big to build that back up again.
And on the flip side, we have Sheamus and Cesaro who had that stare down after they eliminated each other. I'm like,
Yeah.
are we really going back to this? We had best of 7 last year.
We
Let's
might get
move
that
on.
again. We might get that again. A lot can happen between now and WrestleMania, but now it's time to take a few questions.
Yeah, and just to remind you guys, we are live right now, so ask any questions that you want. We'll try to get to your live questions, but first we have a few questions.
From Twitter,
Yes.
our boy Stoney Keeley says, seems all the unpredictability made fans' imaginations run wild. Are we disappointed by the lack of surprises? I think the question here is, does fan booking get in the way of actually enjoying a Rumble? Because we're so invested on like what we want to happen
Yes.
that we just can't enjoy what is going to happen.
Yes,
Yeah,
100%.
I think so.
It gets
Yeah.
in my way. But
Yeah.
Because I saw things that I already, like, I felt like when Brock Lesnar got thrown out by Goldberg, I thought that was perfect. I was
Yeah.
like, that's so great.
Yes.
But then Goldberg gets thrown out by Undertaker a few seconds later, and I thought it just deflated all of that momentum that he had going.
Yep.
Where they should have gone like Sid Justice and Hulk Hogan, where angry Brock Lesnar pulled
Pulls him out of the
Goldberg
ring,
That's
yes.
over.
I was for sure, like, I mean, for months ago, like, that's
Right.
how it was going to go.
Because if they're not going to do anything with Goldberg and Undertaker later, then that was pointless.
was
And it just deflated the entire thing.
And I would have booked it maybe where all the guys in the ring didn't just lay down for like 15 minutes at a time while 2 guys stared at each other. Just me.
There was a big, like, when Roman Reigns did that for like 30 minutes. Was
Yes.
it the last Rumble or the year before that? And people complained about it. But I'm like, literally, the entire roster is just like lounging.
They're just
like,
they're just waiting for the next guy to come,
Next guy to come
100
in and
yards
clear it.
down to the ring.
Yeah.
Well, fantasy booking, it's what we do. Sorry. Damien Salty G asked, what are your thoughts on a Roman Taker match for WrestleMania? We saw that little stare down there.
It's his yard now.
Yeah.
That's what he told him.
I just hope it's the last Taker match. That's what I hope.
I don't, they're not going to let Roman will retire?
I don't care who wins. I don't care.
You just
I just
don't-
think
you're done.
I just think, and I love Taker. I love him so much that I don't want him to do this to himself anymore. I just think that
time.
it's time.
It's time.
Yeah. He can barely walk in there, and it's time for him to go.
But would this be a good opportunity? I hate to even fantasy book it, but Roman Reigns to turn heel against Taker.
I think that would be beautiful.
I mean, that's
would love
that's
it.
the play they have to do.
But that comes back into our fantasy
See?
booking affecting the way we appreciate
think
the
about it.
product.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if he doesn't do it, I'll be upset, and I'll.
And we'll just complain on the internet like we do. Cassie McJazzy asked, do you think Roman was meant to be number 30 all along?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I don't think they could throw that to chance at the last minute. And
No.
like we said earlier, I feel like they knew Randy Orton would get a meh reaction, so they had to bring Roman Reigns out,
Because they
who the
knew.
crowd detest.
Poor Roman.
And they gave him the RKO, which everybody loved, and they threw him out. And I feel like that was the point. But 30 is always saved for the big, well, it should be saved for
The
the
big surprise,
And-
yeah.
And sometimes they'd give you like a Rey Mysterio or a Dolph Ziggler, and you're like, eh. So at least it was a surprise.
It just wasn't a surprise people were waiting on.
Right.
Our boy, the homie Dan Poltz wants to know, do we think AJ versus Cena measured up to Okada and Kenny Omega from Wrestle Kingdom 11?
That's a tough one.
That is very
They're
tough.
just two different
I think
matches.
it's two different styles.
It's two different styles.
companies. Yeah, I don't think it's fair to compare the two. They were both 5-star matches.
Incredible.
They were both 5-star matches, but
Yeah.
I was more emotionally invested in this one going in just because
You know the characters.
I know them so much better
Yeah.
than New Japan, so it's hard to say. And when you have history on the line,
Yeah.
I feel like that elevates it.
I do think there were more spots with the Wrestle Kingdom match where I thought, he's dead. Like,
Yes.
like he's
Yes.
he's now dead.
I also appreciate that they went a whole hour and Kenny Omega didn't hit his finisher one time.
Yes,
Yeah,
we've
that-
talked
that
about
really
that.
appreciated
Of
that.
protecting the finisher, making it your finisher.
Yeah,
Okay.
Unlike this match that had 4 finishers
at least. Yeah,
from each guy.
But I still loved it.
Yeah.
it was
Whatever.
great.
Michael wants to know if the Rumble match itself changed how you viewed the show as a whole. Because we talked about this. The Rumble, a little meh, but the rest of the card was amazing. Great matches. Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns had a great match.
Charlotte and Bailey had a
Bailey.
match.
Okay.
It was a little clumsy, but I love both
it's
of
a
them so
mistake.
much,
Yeah.
and I thought it went great. I thought the ending was great.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Rumble did change how I felt about it, and it may seem like we're a little complaining about this, but I tend to want to love every wrestling pay-per-view that comes on and give the WWE the benefit of the doubt. But this
True.
Rumble just felt like there was so much hype going into it with
There
Goldberg,
was.
Lesnar, Taker.
I think the pacing was off, but I'm going to tell you right now, when Roman Reigns came out at 30, I cackled.
Yeah.
I was just like, because I was like, WWE knows exactly what they're doing. Like,
Yes.
they are so much smarter than I will ever be. And I was like, yes, absolutely put Roman Reigns as 30 because everyone's like, Samoa Joe. It's not the Samoan Joe you thought,
It is
thought it
Joe,
was going to
and he
be.
is Samoan.
But it is not him.
At that point, I was like, just go ahead and let him win. I mean, just go ahead and make him win, and let's just turn this dumpster over and set it on fire.
Oh, gosh. Do we have anything from Facebook? All the internets.
We got a question from our own Lucas here. Should Shinsuke and Samoa Joe both come up to the main roster now? Have they done all they can in NXT?
They have done all they can in NXT, I think. I think they're done, but
I think
they need them.
Yeah, they need some main
Shinsuke.
event
They need
guys like
Shinsuke.
that in there to keep NXT going. I mean, Triple H was just commenting about this, about how it's really, they've designed it as this feeder system, and as soon as guys get hot, they go to the main roster, and NXT has to keep rebuilding new stars.
Yeah.
Now they're at a point where they're filling up the same arenas as the main
Yeah.
roster. So in order
to
to
keep
do
some.
that, you got to keep some guys down there. You've got to have a couple of those main people, and so I mean, I think Samoa Joe might be ready to move on. I think they need at least Shinsuke to stay.
Yeah, and I really don't want to see Shinsuke get lost in the
I don't either.
shuffle.
I would rather them stay down there and be top guys than come up and get lost.
Yeah.
Like we've seen a few of them do. Bo Dallas, I loved him in NXT, and now where's he at?
Yes, true. I think they're doing the same thing with Asuka. Like, they don't have that woman who can replace her. So, they keep her down there where she's
Yeah, that totally
destroying
makes sense.
everyone.
They don't have anybody
They
close.
don't have anyone close enough to her level to compete.
And she and Shinsuke, when they get to the main level, they need to be like right to
I
the
need
top.
them winning every single belt.
Everything.
I would like her to win the men's belt. I said if I could fantasy book, I would have Asuka in the Rumble.
Believable.
Next year, everyone. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you follow us on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, and subscribe to our podcast on iTunes, the Over the Ropes podcast. And on behalf of all of us at Comic Book, I am the Ultimate Torier, and it's officially WrestleMania season, baby. Woo! Yeah. Too sweet, me.